The Green Party tend to be more scientifically aware of what's happening in the world than the general public. There's a lot of misinformation comes from the media. So whoever gets elected is very likely to have to stand up and promote a policy that's not going to be popular. And a couple of you mentioned fisheries policy that's going to come up fairly soon. Scientists have recommended that we end all commercial fishing for 9 years, at least 4 years for most of the species. Now this is going to adversely affect people who make a living from fishing. So you're going to have some difficult decisions to make, some allegiances to make, and I just wonder how you would handle this sort of situation, how you handle this policy, difficult policy.
No, that counts as
Sorry. Well, yeah, I've never been one to dilute my principles to make myself more popular. If I'm in a minority of one, I believe I'm right, I'll still say what I think. In the case of fisheries, we have to take the scientists' view. We don't water down what the scientists say to make it more popular. But as a socialist, I would say that a planned economy based on common ownership is essential so that these fishermen who have to stop fishing for 9 years are not thrown out onto the scrap heap, but are given another opportunity to contribute to society somehow and are looked after by society. Under capitalism, they'll just stop fishing for 9 years and throw them all in the dole, and I wouldn't support that.
Yeah, we need to make the transition that we've talked about, but it needs to be a just transition. So yes, if fishing needs to stop, and I think there is a strong scientific case for that, then fishing needs to stop. But we're going to need experienced seafarers to sort out all of those wind turbines all around the coast that we're going to be promoting as part of our million green jobs. So there's jobs for all. Everybody is entitled to a job who's capable and wishes to work, and basically it may not be the same job, but that would be what I would promote. There are jobs for all. There's a just transition. We can't expect workers to vote for their own redundancy unless they see an alternative, and there are green alternatives which are crying out to be implemented.
When I was 6 or 7, I actually would go to school and save the environment and fighting for minorities, and I most certainly wasn't very popular because of it. But that's what I felt like. I really say what I think, even if it's a not popular view. So I don't have a problem with that at all. In regards to difficult policies where victims of, people could struggle with the consequences, similarly as Peter and Simon already said, I would look into finding solutions for those individuals so they do have an alternative, so we do not victimise somebody on the way. I do think always with policies, I would try to look at the holistic picture and try to put something in place that we don't have any victims on the way. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, you're quite right about you have to sort of make that transition and help develop other industries so that these jobs are there for people to move into. It is very difficult. It's very difficult putting across a scientific viewpoint quite often. I mean, some people are tremendously good at it. So Professor Brian Cox makes everybody feel that they understand how the entire universe works. And you try to explain to someone else and think, oh, actually, I didn't quite get that bit. And it is going to be quite difficult if the other parties are standing up there saying, you're trying to ban the great British fish and chips, how dare you? Europe to sort of straighten our bananas and get rid of our great British bangers, even though they're half full of sawdust. But it is a very difficult thing to do. But if the evidence is there to say we have to stop fishing, then we have to stop fishing. As I said before, it's a finite planet that we live on. There are finite resources. Capitalism just doesn't understand that. And some of the older style socialists didn't understand that either. It was a case of we're going to make a more just use of all the resources. But they're still finite resources. It's one planet living, and we all have to be aware of that. And if we have to stop fishing, then we have to stop fishing.
Yeah, I'm very good at being brave about saying things that I don't, that other people might not agree with, and certainly I know we have a particular issue with this, things like the car industry and things like that. We have got to say these things, you know, and things like charging people for parking, even within Rushcliffe Borough Council and City Council, and you know, you have to say these things that they might not like very much. But I'm not as brave as Simon, because I wouldn't walk through the streets of Nottingham wearing a Derby County scarf.
Yeah.
But good luck to you, Simon. I come from a biological background, obviously, I think you can have a small amount of fishing, actually. If you have small boats and use rod and line, and you can actually carry on a certain low-level fishing. It will make fish very expensive, but then I think we should pay more for fish and meat in order to have, if people want to eat it, they have to pay the price of what it actually costs to produce them. We become more of a vegetarian or vegan lifestyle because it would be cheaper, for one thing. I think we can have some low-level fishing, and we can also, as it's been said before, employ those people in other ways with their skills that they have, certainly with offshore wind and tidal. Can I get to the point then?
Yes. I think we should have applause for all the candidates.